All
Yes.
right, we got Jim from Friday Night Party.
The
This
Friday
is
Night Music Party.
Dre from Tattoo Squid Podcast. I know I should have said that first, but hey, it is what it is. So, how you going?
I'm going, man. I'm good. It's good.
Yeah,
It's good.
yeah.
It's fucking cold out, but
Fellow Long Islander. Yeah.
oh man, yeah, long. I lived there from 1985 until 2000. That was the good old days.
Oh yeah, this
Yeah.
nowadays is yeah,
I
nah,
don't, dude.
whatever.
I don't even recognize it. I don't even recognize it.
Yeah,
My old man worked in the nuclear power business for. He still does. Well, he still works in the power business. Obviously, nuclear power is not a big thing anymore. But
yeah,
he was a nuclear engineer, and there's a company here in Boston, Stone Webster, and they used to build nuke plants.
yeah.
So they would send my old man all over the place. And one of the places they sent him in the late 70s was down a showroom and
Ah,
to build Shoreham. So he was one of the major technicians on building Shoreham, and that was just supposed to be like a short little 1 year job. And it was such a mess. It was a mess. Like we could do a whole podcast on just how Shoreham was the biggest like
yeah.
corrupt cluster beep in the history of Long Island. But
You don't have to
uh
be. We can curse on this sucker right here. So don't
oh, dude, let me tell you, it was fucking, it was a mess. It was a fucking mess. I didn't know about this till I got older, and like I started drinking with my old man, and be like,
Yeah.
Jesus, let me tell you, there were days where I'm amazed, like this happened, that happened. I'm like, oh my god, like this is a nuclear power plant, like that shouldn't happen. I know, like Jim, I was there, like oh my god. So,
It's like The Simpsons.
oh man, the whole thing turned into like, so of course the mafia got involved because it was 1977, 75, 76, 77, 78.
Yeah,
So all the labor was being run by the mafia. There were like hundreds, and they had way too many people working there. They didn't need all that many people. So somebody would like come in and work on a gauge and for like 7, 8 hours and then break it, and
yeah.
then another person would come in and, oh look, it's broken, and then they would bring in like another person, oh yeah, it's broken, got to do it again. And it just went on and on and on and on and on. So Lilco, because my dad actually knew what the fuck he was doing,
Oh yeah,
they didn't want
Loco. I
him to.
remember that. My uncle was on
Yeah,
that one.
yeah. So Lilco, that's who was, my dad was subcontracted out to them from Stone Webster. So Lilco was like, we need you to stay. Like, you know what you're doing. Like,
Yeah,
we will offer you a bunch of money if you stay here. But in 78, 79, after I was born, he didn't want to live on Long Island. So every year or so they would contact him and like, we still need your help down here. We still need your help down there. So after my sister was born in the mid 80s, they made him an offer he could not refuse, because at that point he had 3 children, and he was like, okay. And it was like way more money than he was making in Boston. So we packed up and moved down there.
there
And
you
then
go.
the ball rolled through Buckner's legs. That was fun. That was fun. My that was great. Awesome. Welcome to New York. Terrific. I'm from Boston. Like, awesome. Like, welcome to, walk into my new school. I lived a couple different places. We lived in East Quogue first, and then
Yeah,
we lived in Santa Mauritius for a little bit. And then we moved to Rocky Point, and then we actually settled down in Sound Beach in like 87, 88. But yeah, my first day of school in the Rocky Point school districts was the day after the ball rolled through Buckner's legs. So when my teacher was like, "Oh, this is our new student Jim from Boston," you can just imagine the looks on kids' faces,
yeah.
like
They're like, oh, Boston. Ah,
boo, boo, like Buckner. The whole first day in
yeah.
that school, everybody's yelling Buckner at me, like the whole 9 yards. It was hysterical. So yeah, I lived on the island from 85 to 2000, and
There you
every
go.
time I go back, it's crazy. It is crazy to me
Yeah,
how many people live. Where are you at?
I'm in Mauritius.
Oh, you're in Mauritius, not
Yeah,
the center. Oh my
not
god.
the center. Center is like
Yeah, yeah,
next door.
yeah.
So yeah, we're like
Oh
Mauritius,
man.
but we are like looking to move because they had some kind of homicide going on in the apartment building.
Oh well, yes. Then you should move.
Yeah.
That's
Well, they
what you should
had
do.
we had what do we have? We had what they call it? Meth labs.
In
And this is,
Merich? No.
yeah. Well, no, in
No.
the apartment complex.
Oh, 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 oh. I thought you were talking about like in
No,
Mauritius
no, not
itself.
in
Because
general.
that
In general,
oh,
yeah, you
okay.
can find it in general,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
this
yeah,
is
yeah.
all in the complex.
Okay, well, yeah, okay, that's pretty bad. That's
So
worse
it was
that's worse than
like,
I thought.
yeah, we're like, holy crap,
Dude, that's
And
fucked.
my girlfriend was like, this was like way better in the beginning, and all of a sudden now
Yeah.
it's like, eh. So
Mm.
yeah, we are looking for like maybe a house wise. So
Did you
hopefully.
did you grow up there?
No, I grew up in Bayshore,
Oh boy.
and I lived there for until I was 20. I was born in '73,
Yeah.
and I left uh Bayshore in, I think I was like 25, and then I moved to Lindenhurst.
Not too far. I
No,
mean,
not too far. And
not
then I was,
super far.
yeah, me and my girlfriend slash wife, we moved
Yeah.
in together, and then we were staying there for like 7, 8 years, and then we moved to Pennsylvania, and then been there
Where
for
were you?
like 10 years. But then
Where were you in Pennsylvania?
there's like a little town called Luzerne.
Oh, I know where that is.
Yeah, yeah. So it's
I
like
know a lot of people from Pennsylvania.
yeah, it's like a little
That's
80s
yeah.
town. I
Oh
love
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah.
Love
It's
that. I
you're out.
love those
Yeah,
little
you're
towns, especially
that's
Christmas.
yeah. Pennsylvania, those parts of Pennsylvania are just I went to college with a bunch of kids from Pennsylvania, and I've been to Gettysburg
Yeah,
9 or 10 times. I'm a big history nerd, so I've been to Gettysburg quite a few times.
I've been
And
there once.
Gettysburg is I love Gettysburg. I would live there. Like if it wasn't if I was gonna leave, like if you gave me an option, I would love
Yeah.
to live there. That place is great. I mean, it's haunted as fuck and spooky as
Yeah, that's
shit.
what I've been
Like
saying. Yeah,
it
that's
is. I'll tell you what. There's only a couple of places like Salem. We have Salem up here, and everybody makes a big deal about that. And then you got Amityville down there, and
yeah,
everybody makes a big deal about that. But Salem is not spooky during the day. It just isn't.
yeah. Of course not.
No time during the day or of the year is Salem spooky. Salem is spooky at night. As soon as the sun goes down, okay.
Yeah,
Amityville isn't really spooky to me at all, but some people think it is. But at night, okay, I can kind of see that.
yeah,
Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, the hair will stand up on the back of your neck on a 98-degree summer day at noon. Like it is creepy. Like
yeah,
just like there are just dead people everywhere. Like everywhere. There isn't an inch of that town where somebody didn't get horribly killed, like blown up with a cannonball,
Oh
or
yeah,
got his arm blown off, or like ah. And there's all of these little plaques. What I love plaques. Every time I see a historical marker, I gotta go check it out.
yeah,
But when you're walking through Gettysburg, it's like, oh, on this spot, like General so and so lost his right arm, his left leg, and 2 teeth. Oh, Jesus. And it's just a little mark. You would miss it if you weren't looking. Like, they're just these little markers like that. Like, oh,
yeah,
God. Oh, God. But yeah, a friend of mine I went to college with, we went through, I only stayed there once in Luzerne.
yeah,
We drove through it, but we stayed there for a night. His ex-wife, I think. I can't remember.
yeah,
But yeah, no, I know where that is. Yeah, it's beautiful out there.
yeah. No, definitely. We had a house over there, and we just set it up, and
Yeah.
there was like I had to go to was it town hall, and I met the mayor, and I'm like, all right, it's like you see everybody.
Yeah, no, everyone. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love those little
It's
towns. I
like,
love
hey,
those
I'm the
little
mayor.
towns.
How you doing? I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, hi, how you doing? Yeah. And then all of
I
a sudden there's like no cops. Like
no.
well, no, but there was cops like from the other towns, and
Oh,
they check it out from there. But then
ah,
Luzerne never had their own cop.
right,
So, and I'm
right.
like, oh, this is fucking crazy. Which
Yeah,
I found out because my friend lived in Scranton, and I was
yeah.
going to Scranton to get my tattoos done.
Mhm.
Right here.
I
So
noticed.
and we go and do, I get my tattoos done, but then all of a sudden I went to my friend's house and my tire got flat. So it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and it's like a bad neighborhood in Scranton.
Yeah, yeah,
So we seen a cop, and we asked him, can you just sit right here so I can get this done? I don't want to
yeah,
get mugged at night.
yeah,
And then my friend was like, yeah, I know Scranton is kind of like the bad town and all. And he goes, well, where you live? And he pointed at me. And I'm like, I live in Luzerne. He goes, okay. And you think Scranton is the worst town? He goes, your friend lives in murder capital of fucking Pennsylvania. And
yeah.
I'm like, They
Oh,
didn't show that in the brochure.
yeah. Why didn't they mention that to me?
I'm like, what the
Hmm.
fuck? But then what's an empty?
Oh,
You see you look at the news and it's like
yeah,
fires over here, fires over there.
yeah.
I think we have more fires than California did. You know,
Jesus, that's insane.
so
That's like
and
when I lived in Maine. I lived in Kennebunkport for about 5 years,
yeah,
and that's like the middle of nowhere. I mean, that's like you're out. That's the boonies, and
uh,
it's so small. It's so small that if you're there in the summer, of course, it's packed because that's it's a resort town. So
yeah,
Wells and Agunquit and like on the South Shore leading up from New Hampshire, like when you leave New Hampshire and get into Maine, you've got like Wells Beach, Old Orchard Beach, Agunquit, like those are the big, and then Kennebunkport. They're packed, you can't move. There's a
yeah,
million people. In the winter, there are so few people there. The population is like cut into it's like down to a third.
yeah,
If they don't recognize your car, they're gonna follow you, which is what they did. So I moved up there from here and I hadn't got my main plates yet, so I still had mass plates.
yeah.
And I was driving back to the house that I was renting with my girlfriend, and this cop is following me, and I'm like, I'm not doing anything. Like, I'm on back roads. I'm like, I'm doing 30 miles an hour on a back road. Like, not doing anything. I'm like, all my lights work. You're doing the mental checklist. Like,
Yeah.
all my lights work. Like, registration is okay. My license plates are okay. Like, well, what's going on here? So I pull into the driveway. I pull down the street. There's a long, long street called Oak Ridge Road. And I pulled onto that street. And he's following. Doesn't have lights on. Maybe he's just behind me. He's going somewhere else. But as
Yeah.
soon as I pulled into the driveway, I'd lived there for about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I pulled into the driveway, long, long driveway. Everybody's house is set back like way, way from the road.
Yeah.
And then the long, long driveway. I pull into the driveway. This dude lights up. He's got the sirens going. He's got the lights, everything. Jumps out. Stay in your car. Do not move. I'm like, okay. Like, did I just get pulled over in my driveway? Is that what just happened? Like, okay. I'm sitting there. He walks up, but he didn't walk close to me. He had a flashlight. He was
Yeah.
about 5, 6 feet away. He's like, I need you to lower your window. I'm like, hi, what's going on, officer? He's like, where are you? Who are you? What are you doing here? I live here. He's like, well, your mass plates. I'm like, I just moved here. He's like,
Yeah.
really? He's like, is there anybody who can verify this? I was like, my landlord lives in that building right there. We could go talk to him. That was how small a town it is. He's like, oh, I didn't recognize your car. He's like, apologizing to me. He's like, I didn't
Yeah.
recognize your car. God damn. He's like, it's October. All the tourists are gone. You shouldn't be here.
I'm not a tourist. I live here.
I really do live here. Like, holy shit. Like,
Yeah.
they are so nuts about that. Like, no one would even talk to me until I lived there for the whole winter. People would like not say hi to you at the Hannaford supermarket.
Yeah.
Like, people would like look away. And then at the end of the winter, when I was still there, all of a sudden I became okay. Like, you made it. Like, you survived. Like, now you're okay. Like, you're one of us now. But it was totally nuts. Like, you didn't recognize my car and you pulled me over. Wow.
Yeah.
That's whew.
Well, believe me, I got pulled over in my driveway in Lindenhurst. I went past the stop sign. I didn't realize it. I just went past it. You do that. What's that?
You've
That
done it.
roll?
Yeah, rolling stop. Yeah.
Yeah. And I did it,
But
and I didn't see the guy behind me.
yeah.
It was like a unmarked car.
Yeah. But
And
you lived there for so long you didn't even think about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And then I pull into the thing. All of a sudden, the guy's like, "Woo!" I'm like, "Really? I'm in the driveway.
Yeah.
This is like the safe zone." You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Why are you at my house? Why are you at my house?
Yeah.
The first time I got pulled over, I was on the LIE. I was on exit 62. I just got my driver's license, and I was working at in Holbrook. I was working there. It used to be, I don't know. Well, no, there's no Hess gas stations anymore.
No, no, I don't see that.
Vallejo. Yeah, they're Vallejo or something. The V with the blue logos.
Oh, Valero, yeah,
Valero, that's what it is. Valero.
yeah,
So there used to be a Hess gas. Now it's probably a Valero in Holbrook, right off the LIE. So I was on the 4 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the afternoon shift. So it was like 2:30 in the morning, exit 62 on the LIE. So
yeah,
17, I just graduated from high school. I started going to Suffolk Community College. I'd had my license for all like a month, right? So our New York license plates, because we're not from New York, they said
sure.
"Go Bo Sox." New York plates that said "Go Bo Sox." So this cop pulls me over. Now again, I can't imagine what I'm doing. Like,
Yeah.
going slow. My parents read me the riot act. They were like, you know, you got to be careful, it can't speed, blah, blah. So I'm driving our big 1978 Chevy Nomad van, like an A-team style van, like
Oh,
big,
I
you
love
know,
the
the
18.
with the yes, remember like the big panel vans? This was
Yeah.
a big ass 1970s panel van. It was, I mean, the whole car would shake when you do the panel door open, the whole thing would rock, right? So
Yeah.
guy pulls me over, and he was very angry. And I roll in the window and I hand him, give me your license and registration, kid. What are you doing? I hand him a thing, and he looks at me and goes, "Do you know what your license plate says?" Yes. Is that a valid New York license plate? Yeah. Yeah, we've had it for years. Yeah. My parents' car. I swear to God, it's a real license plate. I'm going to go back to the car. And if that is not a real New York license plate, you're in a lot of trouble, son. I promise you that it is. I don't know what to tell you. I'm sure that it upsets you, which is the point. I mean, it's supposed to make you mad, but you know, it's a real license plate. He goes,
Yeah.
"Have you ever?" He goes, "Have you ever been pulled over before, son?" No, I was 17. I just got my license. I was due like a month ago. Like I just got it. Like I swear, I've never been pulled over. He goes, "Okay, you better not be lying to me." So he's back there for like half an hour, like sitting there, like, oh my God. And of course, you know, half an hour, every minute feels like an hour when you pulled over, right? So he
Yeah.
finally comes back up. He goes, "Well, kid, you shouldn't have lied to me. Now you're coming with me to Riverhead." Whoa, whoa, whoa.
What?
What do you mean I lied to you? He's like, "You got pulled over twice. You got pulled over in 1982 and 1983 in Farmingdale." Sir, in 1982. And now I have the same name as my old man. I'm the
Yeah.
third, he's junior. I'm like, in 1982 and 1983, I was 4 and 5. Like, I could not have possibly. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Look at my license.
You
Yeah.
made a mistake. Yeah, look at the date of birth on my driver's license.
Yeah.
So he looks at it without looking up. He never looked at me again. He literally hucked the license to registration back like past my face, went, "Get out of here. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here, you fucking Bostonian. Get out of here." It was hysterical. So now I'm late to work. So I
Oh.
show no cell phones, you know, pre-cell phone era.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Show up, and you know, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, 3:45 in the morning. No one is in a good mood at 3:45 in the morning, let alone at a Hess gas station in Holbrook. This
Yeah.
is not like a feel good kind of place. This is, you know, it
Definitely
was
not.
horrible. A broken down ass. I mean, I'm sure you've been to Holbrook, whole
Yeah.
Brooklyn.
Yeah. Definitely.
I mean, broken down ass 7-Eleven, Hess station that was built in the 50s. Everything was grandfathered in. The place was collapsing even when I started working there. I can't believe it's still open. And then there was a Goodwill next door. So you can
Okay.
just imagine the kind of clientele that were hanging around in the parking lot of that strip mall at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
You
There you go.
could just
We have a
you could
40.
just exactly. It was a good little OE, little King Cobra.
Yeah.
So
Oh.
my
Colt
manager was
45.
yes, Colt 45. So my manager was this like 32-year-old guy who had been in the Marines, and he was really angry. He didn't want to ever leave the Marines, but he fell out of a helicopter and he
Oh.
had every bone in his body, and he could not stay in the Marines. And he was in traction. He always used to tell this story. Like he was in traction for like a year and a half. He had to relearn how to walk. So he was medically discharged from the Marines, and he tried to get back in, but like he was too fucked up. Like he walked like a 100-year-old man. He was like
Yeah.
32, 33. He walked like he was 100 because he fell. Like he should have died. He fell out of this. They were way off the ground when he fell out of the helicopter.
Yeah.
So he was very mad that he wasn't in the Marines still, and he was willing to take it out on just about anybody. So that moment was my moment to have it taken out on me. He's like, "Where the fuck have you been, Powers? Oh my God, I just hired you for this fucking job and you're fucking late." I was like, "I got pulled over." He's like, "Well, what the fuck were you doing?" I was like, "Look at my license plate." He looks at my car. He goes, "Oh, Jesus Christ. Don't drive that car. You can't, no. Drive something else to come here. Oh my God. That's going to happen to you 100 times. Oh my sweet Lord Jesus."
What did the license plate say?
It said, "Go Bo Sox."
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
Go
I
Red
thought it was
Sox.
something
Okay.
different on there.
No. That's, you know, the funny was nobody ever, we were always worried about somebody slashing the tires. We were always worried about somebody keying the car.
Yeah.
That never happened. Now, people, of course, would
Yeah.
give you the finger. They'd give you the finger. They'd honk. They'd, you know, we drove it a couple of times into the Bronx for Red Sox Yankee games, and people would boo.
Yeah.
Nothing ever happened until, so we have Patriots season tickets. My dad got them back in the early 70s. We came up to a game when they first opened the new stadium. It'd been open for about 2 years after the Red Sox won in 2004. The first Pats home game after the Red Sox won.
Yeah.
We come back to our family tailgate. We had this huge family tailgate. And my cousins come running up to us. I was up here going to college at that point, but my parents still lived in New York.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my God, your license plates are gone. License plates are gone. We go back to the van. The license plates are gone. So it's an NFL game. There's 500,000 police. You don't need to, you don't have to go far.
Yeah.
So this Mass State Trooper walks over and he's like, somebody stole your license plates. That's bizarre. So he takes out the sheet of paper. He's like, all right, I'm going to make you temporary plates, whatever. He's like, well, what did your plate say? And my dad goes, oh, they said go Bo Sox. And he's like, well, how did you get those? He goes, were they mass plates? My dad's like, he's like, how did you even get mass plates that say that? My dad's like, they're not mass plates. He goes, oh, Rhode Island, Connecticut. My dad's like, no, New York plates. The cop literally put the binder down. He was like, you were stupid enough to drive a car with New York Red Sox plates. He's like, dude, they're going to be at a sports bar in Framingham. That's you got to go look at. So all my friends in New England, I'm like, you're going to be at a sports bar in some random ass town.
Yeah.
And you're going to see these New York plates that say go Bo Sox. And you need to immediately call me because those are mine and I want them back. Like, that's what the hell is going on there. But fun stories of the police. Those are.
Oh, I had a police story where I was driving. Well, actually, I was coming out. I was living in Bayshore, and I went to Dunkin' Donuts, and I was coming out. Cop pulls me over, and I'm like, "The fuck did I do? I just turned the corner. That was it."
Yep.
All of a sudden, after he's like, same thing like what you said. It's like, don't put your hands on the wheel.
Yeah.
Look forward. Don't come out of the car. And all of a sudden, after it's like license registration, and I'm like, "What I do?" He's like, "Keep quiet," and I'm like, okay. Now I'm sweating. I'm like, profusely fucking sweating.
Time
I'm like,
just stops.
yeah. I'm like, the fuck? Everybody's looking at me, and then there's like another cop car, and I'm like, the fuck? And all of a sudden, after he looks at my license, he goes, okay, all right. You look like somebody else.
Oh
I'm
no!
like,
Oh
really?
no!
I get that look. I'm like, all right, well, who do I fucking look like? He goes, you can't really say. Yeah. And I'm like,
oh man.
that's one incident. Then
that could have gone really bad.
Yeah. Oh no, definitely. I was like, who?
That could have gone real bad for you.
Yeah. First, and then then he went, and I was like, well, I'm like, I gotta go and get beer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoo. And I told my mom and dad that we called one day, and they're like, what? And that was just crazy enough as it is. But then when I went out drinking at were you in Bayshore or no? Have you ever gone?
I've been to Bayshore. I've been to Bayshore many times. My brother
do
was
you
in a
remember a bar named Garfield's?
Oh yeah.
So that was my bar.
I never went there. I've never been there, but I know it. I've seen it.
Well, yeah, it's on that strip of all the bars and all that.
Everything. Yeah, everything. That strip in Bayshore. Yeah.
So people, if you don't know what we're talking about, that is a long strip. Now it doesn't show it. It's all like eating establishments outside. But it was just gin mill bars all the way down.
All the way down. All the way down. I was expressly warned about all of them.
Yeah. Because you can go like Garfield's on the left side was like the only bar on the left side, basically. On the right side, every bar was on the right side.
And they all had names like that. They all had names like Garfield, Louise, and like I can't remember the other. They all had like
there was a all right. Now bear with me, guys, because there was a Hogan's Goat.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah, that's like the old man's bar right there. Yeah. That was Hogan's Goat. There was one called the Atrium, which is not a club. It's a small little fucking bar. That's what it was. Then you had Dublin Up.
Yeah, Dublin Up, Dublin Down, and Dublin Over.
Yeah. And then Dublin was changed to Nutty Irishman. And then but then you go down the line, then there was a Salty Dog, and then there was you name it, there was like a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah, so they all had great names.
Yeah. So I would start like all the way down from one side, and then I'll come back and be home, which is Garfield's.
Right.
So I would go in there, drink up like 2 or 3 pitchers of beer and a couple of shots by myself. Thinking I'm a Viking. And then I would drive home. and all of a sudden, next thing I know, we called it was just like I got pulled over like so many times, and I was so close that they let me walk home.
Oh,
Which was good.
very lucky.
Very lucky. And then the friends of mine were there, and they came by and picked me up. But then we came back, and then my other friend drove my car home. So
Yeah.
instead of having that harassment of telling the parents like, "Oh, I got pulled over, but they let me walk,"
Yeah.
So then I went back and got the car. Well, then my friend went back, got the car. Everything was situated.
Yeah.
So now you figure once, twice, three times a charm. No, it's not. So then I go and I'm driving with my friend, and we go to every bar pretty much on the island. Now he's driving
Yeah.
because he's driving my car, and I was like, I
Yeah.
was hammered.
Yeah.
So we were drinking. We get back to his place. So now I'm driving from his place to my place.
Yeah.
And I get to like Fifth Avenue, which is like the main road.
Hmm.
So then I go on the main road, and all of a sudden I'm like, everything's fine and everything else. And I get pulled over for a broken tail light.
Oh
And
no.
yeah, I get pulled over for a broken tail light. I get pulled over, and the cop, nicest guy,
Yeah.
nicest fucking guy, wasn't like, like what you had,
Yeah.
and
Oh, I always ended up getting the guys who were like, they fought with their wives right before
yeah.
their shift.
So then I get pulled over, and the guy's like, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" And I'm like, "No." He goes, "Have you been drinking?" And I'm like, "Just a little bit." But then, yeah, just a little bit,
A little tiny
just
bit.
a little bit. No.
Yeah.
So then, but he sees like the 5 parking tickets in my windshield, and I didn't see.
Oh no.
And he
Oh, those
goes,
will
"So
always will get
what's
you.
this?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. And I explained the situation. I'm like, "Listen, my friend was driving. I was in the car. I kind of sobered up a little bit, and then I was going to drive home, from
Yeah.
here. It was like a fast shot." And he goes, "Well, where you live?" And I'm like, "Oh, I live by the South Shore Mall."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, that's kind of a walk, and let's do the breathalyzer test and see what happens. And if it's good, then I'll let you go, and I'll drop you off."
Yeah.
Okay. So
Sure.
he gives me the breathalyzer test the first time. Now I used to smoke, so I was smoking a cigarette. Now I was smoking
Yeah.
because I was fucking nervous. I'm like,
Yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
then so he
Can't
goes,
face no tomorrow.
yeah, and then all of a sudden he gives me a breathalyzer test, and it was a 0.22, no 0.21, and I'm like, shit. He
Yeah,
goes, "All
that's
right,
not good.
well, let's relax." And he goes, "Smoke a couple more cigarettes." I'm like, okay.
All right.
He tests me 5 fucking times.
Wow.
So he was giving me the benefit of the doubt.
Wow.
And he did not want to bring me in.
You
He's like,
got
"I
lucky.
gotta do this,
Yeah.
whatever." So then I pretty much smoked the whole fucking pack, like
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
Did the whole thing, got arrested. He's like, "Listen, let's do this again. But if it happens again, then I have to arrest you." And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, well, he's been cool with me. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
So then it didn't get passed. It was the same thing. All of a sudden, after he arrested me, put him in the back seat, and I'm like, I'm having fun with this. I'm like, what? This is like the only time I'm going to get arrested, so I might as well just have fun with it. I'm like, hey, just don't put me in a jail cell with Bubba or bend over, or and he goes, yeah, 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 no, no, no problem. Everything will be cool. You're probably
Yeah.
just gonna be overnight, and then then you'll
We'll
be
let you
on your
go.
way.
Yeah.
See the judge, whatever. I'm like, see the judge, and I'm like, oh. So now I get brought into not Riverhead, the Fifth Avenue, I think,
Oh
precinct.
yeah. Hmm.
No, Third Avenue precinct. That's what it was. And I go over there, and all of a sudden after I pull everybody that's sitting there, and they got the lunch tables with the handcuffs on the tables,
Oh Jesus.
like those long fucking lunch
Yeah.
tables.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So each one had like that. So I'm sitting there, and I'm right across from the cop, and I'm like, "Hey, I seen this on TV."
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
handcuffed myself, and I'm like, I'm just
I
having
know how
fun.
to do it.
So I'm like, what else I'm gonna do? I can't go
Jesus.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Every person in that precinct that got brought in
Yeah.
was for DUI.
Oh
Then there
yeah.
was
Well,
like
that's
20 people,
yeah.
DUI, and one bank robber.
Huh.
One bank robber, and it was a woman, and she was the only one that was crying.
That's ridiculous. I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, that's the number one thing that cops do on Long Island
Yeah,
is either bust speeders or they're looking for drunk drivers. Like that's really, at least when I lived there. Like that's
yeah,
like like if you were driving on 347 at any point on 347, they were hiding in people's driveways. They were
yeah,
hiding behind 7-Elevens.
yeah.
Like,
Out in the open, like
oh yeah,
fields.
like
Oh, but
that's
now
what they.
it's more like in the fields and all that. So
Oh yeah, I mean that's
yeah,
what they were looking for. But yeah,
but
I
it
never.
gets better. It gets better though.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
No,
no, no,
please
no, no.
continue.
But it gets better though. We call it down. It so then all of a sudden I'm sitting there and I'm like, bah, 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 bah. Now all of a sudden this girl walks in. Girl has like no shoes on. She's barefooted and she's getting ready for DUI. I went to high school with this girl.
Oh no.
So she turns around and yells like, I went to high school with you. And
Oh
then now
no.
here's the cop on the other side. He goes, you you know her? And I'm like, unfortunately, yes. He goes, well, we could probably get you a COVID jail cell. You
Oh
know,
my God.
I'm like, yeah. And all of a sudden, here comes the sergeant. Goes, no, 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 we can't. We got in trouble the last time that happened.
Oh
I'm like,
man.
dude, this is the only time I'm going to get arrested. Please.
Come on,
Yeah.
guys. Come on, guys.
So, they want you to take the earrings off. They let me have the earrings on. And,
There you go. Yeah.
it was like, take your shoes off and everything else. And I was just like, okay, I got a jail cell by myself. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, it starts filling up.
Oh no.
I was there like all night. I think I got brought in like 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
And by 5 in the morning, it was just packed with like it was like the UN.
Oh
You
sure.
know?
Sure.
It was the UN in there, and I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
and they were like, oh, we're gonna give you coffee and bagels and all that. And then I looked at the bathroom, like right there in the corner, and
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm fine. I don't.
I
Yeah.
don't
I'm not.
really have to go.
I don't want to eat in here. I don't really
No,
want to eat in here.
I don't
That's
want to go to the bathroom in here.
no, exactly. Yeah. I don't want to do
Yeah.
that either. That doesn't sound good.
So
That's
then we're done with the whole thing. We get, and then they bring us to the pews, not pews, the where they have the jury,
yeah. Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
So then there's like 3 or 4 of us sit right there, and they bring one at a time, and then the parents or anybody like guardians or whatever. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden I see my mom and dad, and my mom's like shaking her
Yeah.
head. My dad's
Oh
like
yeah.
my dad's full Hungarian, and he's
Oh.
like this.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Yeah, and he's just
Yeah.
looking at me like,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, either I'm gonna get an ass kicking, or he's like, he learned his lessons. He was in jail.
Yeah.
So, so then all of a sudden after we get up there, and I'm like, judge is like, hey, state your name. Is this your parents? It's like, is
Yeah.
this your son? And all of a
Yeah.
sudden my dad's like, Your Honor, I don't know who he is anymore. Yeah,
Oh no. Oh
I'm
no.
like, Dad,
Oh,
really?
sorry, Dad. Come on, man. Come on, Dad. Come on.
So
Don't do that to me.
everything was everything was done. I had driving to and from work. I could use the car to go to and from work. It was like, I forgot what they called it.
Oh,
But
yeah, I know what you mean. A friend
yeah,
of mine had to do that. You can only, did they give you like a sticker you had to put on your
yeah,
license?
with a sticker on
Yeah.
there, restriction license,
Yeah.
restricted license.
Yeah.
So you can go to and from work, and that's it.
Yeah. And you
So
can't be out after a certain time. And
I mean, you could be out, but you can't be driving.
no, yeah, you can't be driving. You
Yeah.
can't be behind the wheel after a certain time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So like
Yeah.
maybe like 7 o'clock, I think it was, or something like that.
Yeah.
'Cause I got to work at like 5:30 at that time, so I think it was like
Yeah.
7 or something. So then I I got home, and I swear to God, Jim, it was like food everywhere. It looked like I just came out of fucking prison. You know, like, oh my God, he had nothing to
Yeah.
eat all fucking 2 years or something.
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God. Oh my God.
there's like
That's,
Domino's, there's fucking,
yeah.
Kentucky Fried Chicken. I'm dropping names, folks. I'm dropping names here.
Yeah. Please.
Yeah.
We need sponsors. We need
Yeah,
sponsors. Let's go.
you're telling me I want to get sponsors going on here. I'm trying to get everybody. And then like Kentucky Fried Chicken, they got Domino's, got who else was it? Like
Did they get you Did they get you a Carvel cake? We always used to joke around. Your parents don't love you until they get you a Carvel cake.
Actually, it was the ice cream sandwiches.
Yeah, yeah.
The ice cream sandwiches, Carvel ice cream
Oh
sandwiches.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah, and
so good.
I'm not gonna be able to finish this in one fucking day.
No, there's no way. Yeah,
Maybe in a week.
yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
but
that's wild.
and that was like because I knew I didn't say I had a problem,
Yeah,
but I know I shouldn't be driving.
yeah,
So, because there was another time where I was driving, and I was going to the side streets of where I usually drive, and
yeah.
I pulled a right, and I was like, all of a sudden I'm like
Mm.
driving, and it's going like, I'm like, I got flat or something,
Hey, what's going
and
on?
then I look, and there is a nice little shiny fucking light coming
Uh-oh.
towards me,
Uh-oh.
and it's a fucking train,
That's the train, my friend.
and then I hauled it back. It was like
Ah,
Smokey and the Bandit kind of shit. It was like,
yep,
and then
yep,
I'm like, oh shit, man. I
dude.
got home,
Yeah.
wetting bullets again.
Oh, sure.
Thank God there was no cops around. I'm
Yeah,
like,
thank God nobody saw it. Thank
yeah.
God nobody saw it.
And
Have you
then
ever
I called because I was at a like work, I'm not gonna say work function, but I think this is like the rarest time that you see people at work go to a bar and just
Yeah,
unwind.
yeah,
And the place that I worked at, that was kind of strange. So we all went there. It was like me and like 4 or 5 of the secretaries and a couple of the guys, and
yeah.
they were doing, waitress comes around with those little test tube fucking shot glasses.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know,
That is
I had
so
like,
Long Island, man.
yeah, I had like,
That is so Long
three-
Island.
yeah, that was a long
Yep.
time ago. I don't think they do that
Dude.
shit anymore.
Dude. That's what it was when I started being legal to drink on Long
I
Island.
think it was like
That's
Jaeger. I think I had or
oh
something.
yeah, always.
Horrible.
Oh, something you would never drink by choice that they would bring around like that.
No,
That's
no,
always
no.
really
That was
cool.
choice. That was my choice because I
Oh
love
God.
Jaeger. I love Jaeger.
More power to you.
Yeah.
I can do it in bits and pieces, but that's pretty rough.
You haven't lived, my friend, if you're going camping and had a jug about this yay big. Yeah. And you have it for just to keep warm. Going camping because it gets
That's
cold
funny.
down there.
Yeah, no, listen, man. I'm an Eagle Scout. I've been camping all over the place. I know. We used to go to West Hills on the island.
Yeah.
That's the coldest part of the island. It's the lowest point. And that's where we used to do the winter camporee. And it was always like, you are kidding me. Like it is insanely cold out here. Like I didn't think it could get this cold on Long Island.
What
That's wild.
what is we call have you gone well, obviously you went camping, like even when you're
Yes.
older, right?
Yeah.
So what was the places that you go camping? Like did you go outside Long Island or just
Yeah, we were all over the place. We did Baiting Hollow on Long Island, West Hills on the island. We went upstate a bunch of times, all over upstate.
yeah.
When I was 15, we got hit by a tornado. We went up on a canoe trip
Yeah.
on the Ossawagatchie River, way
Hey, that's high
upstate.
times fast, people.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The only reason I had to, if I had almost died there, I would never have been able to pronounce the name. We were on the Appalachian Trail. It was a week long. They call it in Scouts. They call it high adventure. So you have to be like the little kids can't come. You got to be like 15 and older to keep the older kids involved.
Yeah.
And we had done a bunch of canoe trips before. We'd done one in New Jersey. We'd done one in Pennsylvania, but we never done one upstate. So we mapped out this whole thing, and it was on the Appalachian Trail. And we were sleeping in a CCC, Citizen Conservation Corps
Yeah.
lean-to. The lean-to was built in the 30s. It was built during the Great Depression. And we had this big Grundig. I don't know if you've ever seen those old style Grundig weather radios. You get like the NOAA broadcast. It doesn't pick up
Oh
like
yeah.
AM or FM. It
Yeah.
just picks up like the NOAA. So it was like 10 o'clock at night. It was the night before we were packing up to leave. So we're all packing up our shit and the radio turns on. I'm like, oh shit. It's like, serious weather conditions coming into this area. Blah, 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 blah. So we're like, all right, listen, like, at that point, I've been in Scouts for years. We'd pretty much seen it all. Like, what's the worst that could possibly happen?
What could happen?
Well, what could happen? It rained all the time. Our T-shirts and my troop literally said, "When it rains, we camp."
Yeah.
Other troops hated us because we would show up and start raining even when it wasn't supposed to. So we camped in the rain before, whatever. And we're not even camped. We got a lean to. We're fine. It's gonna be fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. Oh, you got some freezing.
Sleep. And my friend Seth is in the tent with me, and he shakes me awake, and he goes, "We're all gonna die." And he's like, oh, good.
We're all gonna die.
Great. This is
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yeah,
So,
you almost froze. You froze a couple of times there.
oh, did I?
Yeah,
Oh,
just a little bit, but yeah.
all right. So yeah, my friend Seth wakes me up. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and he's like, "We're all gonna die." I went, "Oh my god, what the fuck are you talking about?" And he goes, "Look outside." So he unzips the tent, and it's the apocalypse. The sky is blood red. The trees are flying up in the air, landing on the ground. Trees the size of the support columns on the fucking Whitestone Bridge are bouncing off the ground.
Ah,
Oh, wonderful. We're gonna die. So we all run into the lean-to, and there was a bunch of kids from. You remember the Fresh Air Fund where they used to take kids out of the hood and bring them
oh
out into
yeah,
the woods? Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So there was a group like that in a neighboring campsite. All these little kids from the Bronx. It was their first time out, out in the
yeah.
woods, and they weren't having fun. So they didn't have a lean-to. So we went and grabbed them, and they're all yelling and screaming. I remember this one kid being like, "I prefer being shot at," like pushing the kids into the lean-to, and everything was on fire. Like stuff would catch fire, and then the rain would put it out, or the wind would put it out, and then it would catch fire again.
Yeah.
And three humongous trees literally bounced off this lean-to, and this went on for about an hour, hour and a half. Just absolute, the deafening, the loudest thing I've ever heard. Just like being inside a car engine. Like it was louder than all hell, and you couldn't really see the funnel because we were basically too close to it to see it.
Yeah.
Like we were too close to it. So after like an hour, hour and a half of this, it passed, and it started to get a little light out. And all of a sudden, from being in like a dense, forest we were only about 2-3 hours away from the Canadian border, where you could only see a few feet in front of you because of all the trees. Now all of a sudden you could see all the way down to fucking Hopog. It
Oh,
was everything was flat. It was flat as shit. It just flattened everything. So thank God, thank God for the Grumman Corporation, because they make great canoes made out of F-14s. So we had 2 Grumman canoes, and we found them. You could see them.
yeah.
This is how wild the destruction was. You could see one of the canoes, and these canoes weighed. I don't know if you've ever tried to pick up a Grumman canoe. I mean, they're literally
Nah.
made out of. They weigh a ton. It's like the Port Jeff ferry. We called ours the Port Jeff. One was the Port Jeff ferry. One was the Bridgeport ferry. They weigh a ton. This thing was sticking out of the ground like a toothpick. Like if you took a pocket knife and you threw it in the ground,
Yeah.
that it looked like somebody did that, but with like a 60-70 pound,
Oh,
Grumman canoe. It was insane. So thank God they're also really visible because they're silver. So we see these glinting. We're up on a hill. We see the glinting. We're like, the canoes. Thank God. We go get the canoes. We pull them out. We're like cleaning them out. But now we got to get out of here. So how are we going to get out of here? So the river is going to be blocked. Like, well, it's really the only way out of here. So we're trying to figure out what to do. And we hear a helicopter, and it couldn't land. There was nowhere for it to land. And this soldier comes down on the canoe from the Army Corps of Engineers. And he goes, "Hey, you're not supposed to be here." I'm like, yeah, what do you mean?
like a movie,
So,
huh?
yeah, it was wild. So we're talking to him, and he's like, "I'm Sergeant something something, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. There's been a very serious incident." We're like, "Yeah, no shit, been a serious incident." We're in the fucking incident, buddy. I know, you're right here. And he goes, "Where are you on this map?" So he's looking at us on the map, and our name wasn't on the campsite. They thought the campsite was unoccupied. And we're like, "Well, no, we're here, buddy." And he goes, "Well, we can't, if you want to wait 6 or 7 hours, we can get another helicopter to come and get you." No, that's fine. That's all right. We'll figure it out. Don't worry.
Yeah.
So up he goes back into the helicopter. So we had 2 little hatchets. That's all we had. Man, I was like Thor. I was a twig. I probably was like 89 pounds. We were all skinny kids. I was 15. So the oldest kid on the trip was like 16. We're these skinny kids from the North Shore of Long Island.
Yeah.
We were cutting trees down like machines. We're like, we're getting the fuck out of here. Like this is And the whole time that we're going down the river, the weather radio is just exploding. Oh, bad weather. It's going to get worse. We're like, well, we don't want to be here for that.
Yeah.
So we are just plowing our way down. So we were worried because the parking lot that they parked the van in, the troop van was
Yeah.
surrounded by trees. And we're like, oh man, please let the van be there. Please let the van be there. Because this was like a 7-hour drive from the island. So we are not anywhere close to anybody. We are literally, we are in the middle of nowhere. We stopped at a Wendy's on our way up there, and
Ooh,
the people at the Wendy's did not know where Long Island was. They asked us where we were from. They were like, "Oh, you guys' accents are kind of, that upstate New York accent. I can't do it, but you know it. They got the upstate New York accent. I mean, we're like 4 hours north of fucking Albany. We were way up there."
Yeah.
And they're like, "You guys' accents?" Well, because they're teenagers. We're teenagers. They're teenagers. We're at Wendy's, and they're looking at kids at the Wendy's. They're like, "Where are you from?"
Yeah.
We're like, "Oh, from Long Island." They're like, "Where's that?" Like, Long Island. There's 2 million people that live there. Long Island. Have you heard of the
Yeah.
Hamptons?
Looks like a
They did
whale.
They had never heard of it. They had never heard of it. We're like, it's in New York. We swear. We live in New York. Where is that? You guys ever heard of Long Island? It was unbelievable.
Oh,
So get back to the parking lot. Thank God the van was there.
yeah.
And the Army Corps of Engineers has like a little command center set up. So we're trying to act all tough, right? Like these teenage kids and the 2 adult leaders, but like teenage kids, we're like picking up the canoes, like, hey guys, we're in our like beat to shit. Yeah, like we're in our like tan uniforms, which have been utterly destroyed in this whole mess. They're covered in dirt. They look like shit. Patches are hanging off, and these soldiers are like, they just came from the barracks, so they look good. They just got up. They look good. So we put the canoes down and we're like, well, we'll see you guys later. Peace out. Like, goodbye. Have fun with that. That's going to take you forever. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
And one of the soldiers comes over and she's like, yeah, you can't leave. Why can't we leave? Well, the access road is blocked. There's a ton of trees. It's going to take us a whole day. So you're going to have to, can you camp out here? We're like, no, we don't. I don't know if you saw what happened, but we don't have it. You see these canoes and the clothes on our back? That's what, at this van, we have a van. We have the clothes on our back. We don't have anything. We lost all our food. We lost all our tents. We lost, those who are in Wyoming by now, my friend. I'm sorry. So they ended up going to get us like this huge army tent, and they gave us like army rations, which I have to say were not that bad. I mean, not something I would want to eat, but not as bad as you would think.
Very tasty.
Yeah, I mean, it could be worse. It could have been a lot worse, but yeah. So the next day, man, when we got up, they brought in a portable shower. We were like, oh, thank you. Oh my, like I love the Army Corps of Engineers forever. Like the Army Corps of Engineers. Oh my God, dude. They brought in this portable shower. We were like, oh, thank you so much. So we're leaving, and my family friend, Mr. Jones, Alan Jones, is like a legend of camping. He's driving. He goes, all right, kids, where do you want to go? What fast food? I'm sure you guys want some fast food. Like, what do you guys want? So they had there weren't any Roy Rogers in our area. The last Roy Rogers closed. No. Roy Rogers, man. There was a Roy Rogers at the Smith Haven Mall. That thing closed down in like 92.
Oh,
so Roy Rogers was still going up there. And we're like, we need to go to Roy Rogers.
And then
we saw the Roy. Oh, yeah. We came into this Roy Rogers like they had never seen hungrier people. They were like, are you kids okay? Are you guys all right? I'm like, listen, I need 5 roast beef sandwiches. I need 4 large sodas. I almost just died. Like, I need, like, holy shit. And they're looking like, what happened?
The curly fries.
Oh, the curly fries. So we had this huge order. They're all laughing and they're like, what the fuck happened to you guys? We're like, the weather the other day. Did you hear about the tornado? Yeah. So the tornado. Oh, wow. I'm sorry, I'm missing the big part here. While we were camping out that night, one of the soldiers comes over. He goes, you guys are really gonna come into the command center. We're like, okay. So they've got TVs set up. They've got the radios going. They're organizing helicopters and surveying the damage and, picking people up that got stranded and all this stuff. A bunch of people died. Like 5 people got killed. It was real sad. Oh, so they got this big map on the big table. I'm sure you've seen disaster movies.
Oh yeah, definitely.
They got a big table. They got a map on the table. So the officer that's standing there, he was a captain. He goes, the Boy Scouts. Yes, Boy Scouts. You are very lucky kids. And Mr. Jones is like, what happened? And he goes, do you see the black dot in the middle of this map. I'm like, yeah, kind of hard to miss. It was like the size of your fist.
Yeah.
He goes, that's where this thing came down. That's ground zero. Okay. He goes, now you were in campsite number 21. Do you see campsite number 21 on this map? And we're looking. It goes up like we see 19, we see 18, we see 22. Oh, where's 21? That black dot is 21, guys. You landed. It landed on you. It landed on you. Like, you should not be here. Like, it is amazing that you kids are here, because that's insane. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit. He's like, that's why the soldier that saw you, we were all sitting here amazed when he came back and said, there's people in campsite 21 and they're alive. They were all like shocked. Like, you made it. So that's my big camping story. I got a big medal out of it. I got a medal for meritorious action that the Boy Scouts give
There
out.
you go.
I got a medal. That's my big claim to fame. But
You have
yeah,
that hanging going like, ha, ha.
oh, dude. Oh, I loved. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love that shit. Like, you ever get a medal? Like, I got a medal once. It's hysterical. It's like a weird, but it was so long ago. Like, I'm glad it happened when I was 15, because I'd just be dead now.
Yeah,
I'd just be dead. I couldn't run. I couldn't like paddle a canoe like that. I couldn't like
yeah.
chop a tree down now like that. It's a good thing it happened when I was like young and stupid and full of energy. Like, and too stupid. Also, like, too stupid to be scared. Like, oh, I'm fine.
Hyped on cola.
Oh, dude, yeah. No, just totally fueled on adrenaline. Like,
Yeah.
not even like afterwards, like years later, when I would talk about it with my friends who were there, we're like, did we legit almost die? We legit almost died? Like, holy shit, man, that's insane. It took a long time for that to sink in, because we were like 15. It was like watching a video game to us. It wasn't even real. It was like, trees were just flying up in the sky. We were like, oh, that's cool. We weren't like, now you and I yelling to scream the fuck out of here, man. Like, run the other direction. We weren't even running. We were just standing there looking at it like, oh, dude, look at that. That's awesome. Man, that's awesome. Did you see that shit? Like, oh, look at that huge tree. Like, yeah, I'd be dead now. I'd be dead.
Oh man. See,
that's
now that story it beats what my nature fucking like Whipper story is.
It's okay. I'm not trying to one up you.
No, yeah. I'm like, oh shit, now how am I gonna say this now? And I'm like, well, so we go camping. We went to Florida, big I don't know, Black Bear Campground up in Florida, New York.
Yeah.
So yes, folks, there's a Florida, New York.
There is a Florida, New York. I've heard of it. I've heard of it.
I've heard it too, but then I'm like, I'm here, Florida.
Yeah.
New York. So
Florida, I mean, there's a Moscow, Maine. There's a Poland, Maine. My favorite. There's a Mexico, Maine.
Wow.
Mexico, Maine is the whitest state in the union, and they have a town called Mexico. Figure that out. That doesn't make sense. Anyway, please continue.
So then we go, it's like maybe 10 of us that go camping, and we have enough food that lasts us a week, even though we were there for only Friday, Saturday, and coming home Sunday.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden after that's like my friend comes up, and he'd never gone camping. Well, me and him never gone camping together. So he brought his girlfriend, and the girlfriend brought her daughter. So they came by, and they had those, like I think what you just described it, the lean kind of like
lean-to
tents and all that.
Yeah. Yep.
So just for the three of them and all that. So first thing we did, we got the tents up. People, I've said this many times on the videos, we go, always put your tent up first before you start drinking.
No, yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't, yeah. I mean, always put your tent up first.
10, 11, 12 o'clock at night or something. And you just can't see shit.
Let me second that as an Eagle Scout. Put the fucking tent up first. Just put the fucking tent up before you do anything.
Yeah. And then start your drinking.
Then do anything else you want to do.
Yeah. So then we're going up, and we have everything set up, and everything was good. And then we get the beer tent up. So we got the beer tent up. We got the little tent to put all the beers inside, so we got the sitting area, the lounge. We're all cool. So then we're just drinking away. Then the next day, it's like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. We have breakfast, get this done. We're playing sports. Next thing you know, we're just hanging out. And here's this water spout.
Oh no!
Coming around. I'm like, the fuck is that shit? And then all of a sudden, you don't even think about saving your own shit. You're like, the beer tent.
Yup.
All 10 of us are holding down this tent, and my friend's holding down this tent, and here's this water spout, and all of a sudden you see in the water spout, it was something, and I'm like, the fuck is that? And all of a sudden after we looked around, And my friend Adam, he's looking, he goes, "That's my tent."
Oh no.
His tent goes, "Oh, our clothes are in it." And you see it going like this.
Oh yeah, no, they're not there anymore.
And we're like, uh, "You gonna go save it?" And he goes,
Yeah.
"No, the beer
Wow.
tent's more important."
The beer is more important, man. The beer is always more important. The
Yeah, so
beer
no,
is
I mean, just the
always more
tent
important.
alone, so we had
Yeah.
that whole thing. And it was like, and then we found it like maybe another campsite like 5 miles down.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he goes, "They're all soaked." And he goes, "Oh man," he goes, "We're gonna drink more." I'm like, "Okay." So now, like I
At least
said,
you
we
save
have
the
enough,
beer.
huh?
At least you save the beer. I mean, that's what's important.
Yeah. But we have, the food still, we
Yeah.
have everything else. We're cooking up the food. Like I said, we invite people next door to come over. And this is the funniest shit. So there was a two girls in the camp on the campsite next to us. So
Yeah.
like I said, we invite everybody over,
Yeah.
families, whatever, they come by. So we had this big thing, we're drinking, everybody's drinking. Two girls come by, and all of a sudden, they're having a good time. One of them was hitting on my friend and his soon-to-be wife,
Mm.
and wanted to go in the tent with them.
Ah,
So I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be one of those nights."
this is gonna be one of those nights.
Yeah.
That's gonna be one
So
of
then,
those things, man.
and I didn't think of it. I'm just drinking away, drinking away,
Yeah.
drinking away.
Yep.
Everybody else is like, we're doing shots of Jaeger, and
Mm-hmm.
this is where, folks, that Jaeger comes in and helps you out.
Ah, that's what Jaeger does.
Yeah, because you have the big, bottle back, yay, fucking big,
Yep.
and then you just like, you don't even pour it in a glass anymore. You're like, fuck it,
Yeah.
whatever,
Just
do
skull it.
another shot, and you're like,
Yep.
oh shit, I'm down to half.
Yep.
So now my friend Kathy goes in a tent. She's fucking tired. She's fucking hammered. And then I'm still hanging out. Now there's only me, this other guy, and one of the girls that is from the tent over.
Mm-hmm.
And also, because I think the other one went to the tent to get something, whatever. So then the other girl goes and makes out with me. And I'm like, okay, cool.
All right.
So I didn't think anything of it.
Sure.
They were an item.
Oh.
Yeah. So the other girl comes out, "What the fuck is this?"
Oh
And I'm
no.
like, in my
Oh
head, I'm like,
no.
"Cat fight."
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden
That's.
after it's like screaming, blah, 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 blah.
Oh
And I
man.
just like, you ever seen a movie where it's all the screaming, or they have a huge fight and there's that one
Yeah.
guy that like crawls like
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
underneath
Yep.
the whole
I'm
fight.
getting out of here. Yep.
So I'm like, I'm walking, not saying a word. I
Like,
get to my
see you
tent.
later.
Yeah. And I'm
Thanks
like,
for
I get to my
coming.
tent.
Yeah.
And I'm laying there, and my friend Kathy's like, she's asleep, and I put my, like normal thing, you put your arm around, this whoever,
Yep.
and all of a sudden she goes, "What's going on over there?" I'm like, I think it's two lesbians fighting, yeah, and I'm like,
People are
I think
fighting.
I'm the cause of it,
Yeah.
and then so the next day, because they packed shit up, they're screaming, they packing up. This is like during the night. The next day we wake up, we go down to the I called it the supply shack.
Yeah.
So you get down there, you get what you need for the next day. They had a
Yeah.
pool over there. And so the old lady, the elderly lady that works there, or helps out, she looks and goes, "Huh, you're still here." And it's like, why shouldn't we be here? It's like, I thought you got hauled away by the police, like, the other two girls. And
Oh
I'm
shit.
like, wait, what happened? And we're
Yeah.
all like, like, what? You
Oh
know,
my
so
god,
she
dude.
told us, is like, yeah, there was two girls just rip roaring down the thing. You're supposed to
Oh
go 5 miles
man.
an hour. They're
Yep.
doing 25. And the police were right down there in the end and just arrested both of them and everything else. And I was like, and as soon as
Oh.
she said that, my friend Kathy and my friend Key just looked at me going, I'm
Yeah.
like, I didn't fucking do it. It's like,
Wasn't me, man.
yeah,
Wasn't
they
me.
drove. I mean, I didn't
Oh
drive. It's
man.
like, you drove away
Jesus.
between the lesbians. I'm like,
Just see what you've done. See what you've done.
yeah, no,
That's
my
that's like
friend's
a
like, you've been a bad boy.
you've been a very you are the cause of all these problems. That's
So, but then that was like, the that wasn't even like the craziest camping story. The one craziest, I'm gonna try to shorten it. There is, because I first met my friend Key, at this one campsite, and then I've known him. I think was like probably like 30 somewhat years now.
Hmm.
So go and meet him. Everybody else, we go to the campsite, upstate New York, obviously, and
Hmm.
then there's a it's called Wamboozy. It's almost like a mini Woodstock.
Okay.
So it's like your modern name Woodstock and everyone else. They got the trailer cut out. You play the
Hmm.
bands.
Hmm.
There was a bar in a campground,
Hmm.
which is unheard of. I never seen that before.
Hmm.
And I was like, all right, cool. And every person that's at this campsite is like everybody in America. Whatever, whoever it could be. It could.
Yeah, whatever, right.
It was
Whatever you
the
could think of.
family. There's the
Yeah.
family there's this camping together. There is the kids that want to get away to smoke pot.
Right.
There's a guy with a Teen Wolf fucking truck and a dog driving around doing Tama drums.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
named Black Magic and Magic.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's bikers and there's cheerleaders, and it was a club.
Everything you could think of.
Yeah, and there was
Everything.
like a lake, so it's
Yeah.
called Limbo Lake.
Hmm.
So we go and we drinking. Obviously, we started off, we going on, and I just met like I said, I met my friend Key and everybody else, and I'm
Yeah.
having a grand old time, and Drew introducing me to like Mickey's, where the bottles look like grenades.
Oh man. I did not know they still made that stuff until I went out to California. I've seen it in movies,
Yeah,
but
it's
I
in
went out
Florida
to.
too. It's in
Oh, is
Florida.
it in Florida?
Yeah,
See,
it's
I
in
didn't.
Florida.
I never in my life had seen that in Northeast. And then I was out in San Francisco in 2018,
Yeah,
and I had to go up. I was out there for work, and I was at this conference. It was like a regional conference, and I had to go up to a small town in Northern California called Willits, which is literally like a stop sign and a light. Like there's nothing. It is way the hell up there in Mendocino County, California.
yeah,
And I ended up getting stuck there. The highway got washed out by the Russian River. It was raining, and the river washed out the road, and the river was closed. The road closed. I was like, oh shit. So I'm at this conference. It was this outdoor. It was sponsored by this lumber yard, and the guy's like, there's a big stage, and this guy gets up on the stage. It was after all the presentations. We're just milling around, networking and
yeah,
whatever, drinking beers. And this guy gets up and goes, oh, hey, just by the way, folks, the 101 is out because of the rain. So can't go that way. All right, folks. And he gets back down. All these people live around here. And I'm like, oh, well, no, that's a problem. I
yeah,
need to go that way. I need to go back to San Francisco. That's where my hotel is. I'm
yeah,
like 3 hours north of San Francisco. Like, I need to go back to San Francisco. Like, what the fuck?
yeah.
So I pull some guy aside. I'm like, hey, man, I'm not from around here. And how the hell am I getting back to San Francisco? And they're like, well, you're not actually. That's I mean, you're good. You could do this. You could do this other thing. So I ended up staying the night in this town. This guy owned like the local Best Western, was part of the conference. He's like, oh, you just yeah, I'll put you up for that. No worries. I'm like, okay, well, what do you do in this town? He's like, nothing. There's nothing in this town. There's a big sign over the front of the town. It's like the gateway to the redwoods. So
Oh,
if you keep
okay.
going, there's the redwood forest. But I had no intention of continuing on. I just wanted to go back to San Francisco.
Yeah,
So I'm like, do you have a bar? And they're like, oh yeah, Little John's. I'm like, okay. Dude, this place was from like a movie. It was the tiniest. Your garage is probably bigger than this. Like, it was this tiny ass little bar. Everyone was like a character from a movie. I feel like, am I on candid camera? This is a
yeah,
joke. These aren't real people. This is ridiculous. So I'm in a suit. I'm in a suit and a tie. And let me tell you, I'm the first person in the history of that little bar that ever showed up in Little John's Bar, Willits, California, with a suit on. So, I mean, not like a super nice suit, but I was wearing a suit and a tie.
you were snazzy. You were snazzy.
Yeah, I was looking sad. I was at a con, I was working.
Yeah,
So I sit down. I'm like, hey, so I'm stuck here for tonight. So I need a beer. And I see in the refrigerator bottles of Mickey's. And I went, no, there's no way they make that still. Like, holy shit. I mean, I've seen that in movies from the 80s, but I didn't, like, that's, to me, that's like Bud Dry or like
yeah,
Rheingold. You're from the New York area, like
yeah.
Rheingold. I mean, that'd be like if you went to a bar and you were in Texas and they had a bunch of cans of Rheingold. Like, wait a minute. What are you doing with those? But yeah, no, they do. They look like grenades. I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit. And they're like, is this the first time you've ever had? They were talking to me like I was a child. They're like, is this the woman was probably in her like the bartender lady, she's probably in her like early 70s, I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Like old school hippie, like hippie from the 60s, just unreconstructed. That's what most of these people were like. And she was like literally patting me on the hand, like, is this the first time you've ever had a Mickey's, son? I was like, well, okay, yes, but that's because I'm from Massachusetts. And she was like, oh my God, from where? Like,
Oh,
that
here we
it's
go. Yeah.
it's a state. It's a state. It's over there. And they're like, no, we know where it is. But what are you doing here? So I'm telling them the story, and they're like, oh my God. So it turned into like the biggest thing that had ever happened in this bar.
Oh,
Like, holy shit. Like, oh my God, I've never been to Massachusetts. I've never been to the East Coast. No one had ever been to the East Coast. I was like, that's okay. This is the first time I've ever been out to see you guys. Holy shit. But yeah, I had like way too many of them. At some point, she just stopped charging me for them because
yeah.
she was laughing at how funny it was. I thought it was hilarious. I was like, oh my God, I'm taking pictures, taking selfies with them. I'm sending them to my friends. I was like, dude, Mickey's, man, look at this. Like,
Look what I
what's
found.
dude? I was like Repo Man. All I
Yeah.
could think of was that scene in Repo Man when they're drinking Mickey's in Repo Man. I'm like, dude, this is amazing. Like, holy shit. So after 4 or 5 of the goddamn things, I'm almost positive that she stopped charging me because I had to walk back to the hotel. I
Yeah.
was in no condition to be driving. It was, yeah, and that is a terrible hangover. A
Yeah, but
Mickey's, the
I
it
had
just,
I had the Mickey's, and I was like, oh, this is awesome.
yeah,
This is great. And I was like, where you get these? And then he told me where, but then all of a sudden now, after years going by, you don't see them
yeah,
anymore. They're in Florida, like I said. But so now we're drinking this thing, and then me and this other guy, we call him Bigfoot. He's like size 15, shoe or whatever. And goes on to we walking around, and we find a bar in the campground. It's like fucking drinking, he had like Jack and Coke, and then every time you start drinking, it was like a little bit of Jack and a little bit of Coke and a lot of fucking Jack. And then
yeah,
by the end of the night, it was like a lot of Jack, and that was it.
yeah,
So then I had just like beer and like shots where they call it originally they called it screaming Nazis.
yeah. I remember
But
those.
then
Yeah,
there they were calling it Rojos. So it was
okay,
like, the same thing and all that. And I was
yeah,
like, okay, staggering back to the campsite, they're like, dude, where the fuck were you guys? It's like, there's
yeah,
a bar in the campground. It's like, the fuck? So
yeah. What do you
climbing
mean?
this like 86 fucking Cutlass,
Ah,
going 5 miles an hour, going like that. I'm sitting on there, everybody's in the car. I'm sitting on the trunk holding like this.
yeah, holding on for dear
Yeah.
life. Yeah,
And but they're going, they're doing 5 miles an hour, which I'm shocked.
yeah.
All of a sudden they're going past like the Whippet tents. They're going past like the dime bag area, whatever. And
Mm-hmm.
then the little hush hush. And
Mm,
then we go to the thing, to the bar, and we're drinking away, drinking away. My friend's sitting there, he's all I had. He's got like lipstick all over his face, and
oh,
he just got
Jesus.
it's like the greatest fucking time ever.
Yeah.
But when the morning comes around, each person has to cook breakfast each day. And we're doing it Memorial
Ah,
Day weekend.
right.
So all of a sudden, after we're drinking, and everybody else, we were climbing this is at night. We're climbing this post, and it had the sign that said Lembo Lake. So we figured, well, we need to change it to a different word. And I don't want to say what we changed it to, but it means two girls.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah, we'll
Very,
keep
very
it at that.
clear. I
Yeah,
got you. I
yeah.
got you.
Because I don't
I
want to get
see.
like people are like, what the hell are you trying? You're bashing people.
I see what you did there. No, I see what you did
Yeah.
there, man. I
And
see
then
what you did there.
yeah, I try. So so we changed it, and then we're like, okay, cool. So now no cell phones, just pre-cell phone
Pre
fucking,
cell phone. Yep.
you
Pre
know,
cell phone.
and we can't take a picture of it, and we have the regular, like
Big camera. Yeah. Big
yeah, the
camera.
little disposable fucking cameras.
Yeah.
And we took it, but I don't even know what happened with it now. So now we go, and the next day, get up. It's my turn to
Oh
cook.
no.
So now it's time for everybody to pack up shit. So they want me to
Right.
cook while we're doing. I'm like, I can't see straight. I don't even know how
Yeah.
I'm gonna drive home. So thank God
Yeah.
my friend Michelle was there,
Yeah.
and she drove my car with me, and
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, we'll stop and get something to eat. I'm like, listen, we'll go to McDonald's. I'm buying everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I can't cook anything, but I'll buy
Yeah.
for
I'll buy for everybody. Yeah. There you
yeah, and
go.
that's what I did. So we go
Yeah.
down there, and everybody
Oh,
else is
dude.
like, "So where you from?" We're like, "Long Island." And I'm like, they're like, "Isn't that one that looks like a whale?" I'm like, "Yes, yes,
Yes,
it is."
it
Yeah,
looks like a whale.
yeah.
Yes.
I'm like,
Oh
"That's the
man.
one. That's
That's
the
the
one. At least
one.
you know
That's the
what it looks
one.
like."
Yeah, at least you know where it is, man.
Yeah.
That reminds me when I went to London. I went to London in 2002. My girlfriend at the time was doing a work study there. She went to Boston University, and I'd always wanted to go to England, and so saved up to go and got a ticket on Virgin Atlantic, and I it seemed cheap, seemed like this should be more money, but it was
Yeah.
because I was leaving at like stupid early in the morning on a Wednesday, right?
Yeah.
So get to the airport, get to the front desk, and the woman goes, "Oh, Mr. Powers, I got to tell you something about your ticket." And I'm like, "Oh, no, 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 no. There was nothing wrong with me." I had to jump through these hoops because it was March of 2002 and I
Yeah.
had to get a passport. You can just imagine in the immediate post September 11th world what getting a brand new passport was like.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Like I had to bring my whole life with me to the federal building. Okay, here's my driver's license. Here's my 10, my 1022s, my W-9s. Here's, fingerprints, my kindergarten.
Here's my
Here you go.
screen. Yeah.
Seriously, like seriously, it was insane. It was insane. So after jumping through all those hoops to get it, better not be telling me there's any fucking problems here, lady.
Yeah.
So she goes, I got to tell you something. I'm like, okay. She goes, well, I have good news for you. I'm like, oh, okay. Thank God. All right. Whew, okay. She goes, when there's so few people, there was nobody there. There was me and these two women behind me that were going home for a wedding. There's nobody else on this plane. There's nobody there. It's 5:30 in the morning at Logan Airport. There's nobody there. So she goes, well, when there's so few people on a plane, the computer randomly picks someone to bump them up into first class. I was like, oh, really?
Oh.
Oh, really? And
Yeah.
she's like, well, you're the first person who's here. So I got there before these two ladies. So she's like, well, you got here first. So we're gonna upgrade you into first class. They did something for them too. I forget what they did, but
Yeah.
I got bumped into first class. Now, first class on a 747-400 is like, it's basically like Nassau Coliseum.
Oh
There's no, it's enormous. It was enormous. It was acres, and
yeah.
there was no one there. It was just me. So I sit down. I'm like, can I sit wherever I want? They're like, well, you really should sit in an assigned seat, but it doesn't matter. There's nobody. So I sit down in the front row. So there's like 15 stewardesses. The some of the hottest women that you have ever seen in your friggin' life,
Oh,
right?
of course.
And they're like,
Dancing.
oh my God, the accents were killing me. Oh
Yeah.
God, oh heavenly Jesus. So they're like, are you okay? I'm like, okay. In the beginning, it was cool, but after a while, I was like, all right, you guys got to chill. I'm fine. Don't have a seat. Look, there's all these seats. Please sit
Yeah.
down. Like those high heels look incredibly uncomfortable. Why don't you take those off and have a freaking seat? Like I'm good. Just can I have a beer? And I'll just show me where the beer is, and then just run a tally, and I'll pay for you at the end.
Yeah.
And this woman goes, Mr. Powers, the drinks here in first class are complimentary. I was like, I'm sorry. You're gonna
Peanut
have to see
soda.
one more time. By complimentary, do you mean free? And they're all laughing. And this one woman's like, you've never flown first class before. I was like, nobody in the history of my family has ever. This isn't just I've never flown first class before, amiga. Nobody ever in my family has flown first class, like ever. It's never happened, like
You
ever.
were like this. You're like this. You're like,
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. I'm like a pioneer for my whole friggin' family here, man. I come from like lower middle class Irish people, man. No, we don't fly first class. Flying in the first place is a luxury, man. Like first class, get the fuck out of here. So she was like, yeah, all the drinks here are complimentary. You don't have to pay for anything. I was like, well, holy shit. So there was a beer cart, and I just got up and I pulled it over to me, and I said, well, can I, they're like, well, we have to put it back where it is until the plane takes off, and then we'll bring it back to you. I was like, okay. So I take like 3 beers off it. I go back to my seat, sit down, like cracking beers. Oh boy. So pretty quickly, once we got in the air, it's a long flight. It's like 6-7 hours,
yeah.
7 hours, something like that. So I had never been on a flight the longest flight I'd ever been out to was Florida, flying from New York to Florida. It was the longest I'd ever been on, right? So like most people from Long Island, that's like where you go,
Like
right?
3 hours or something like
Yeah,
that.
it's like 3 hours. It's nothing, right? So I am just knocking them back, and I'm making a little. The cart is quickly filling up with empties. So I like alert the ladies. I was like, I'm running out of beer, and they went and got me some more. So they're laughing. Then they served me dinner. So the dinner was the biggest. They're like, well, how do you feel about fish? Well, I love fish. So they're like, do you like salmon? Oh, I love salmon.
Yeah.
They brought me a salmon the size of a Louisville slugger. This thing was enormous. I was like, that's insane. Where did you get
Yeah.
this? Like, this is crazy. This is airplane food? Holy wow, it's first class.
Is this all for
So
me?
it's first, yeah. I was like, dude, I couldn't eat this. Like, holy shit. So then the woman goes, well, do you want the red or the white with that? And my poor dumbass is like, the red or the white what? Like
Oh, yeah.
legitimately, I had no idea what she's talking about. And she goes, red wine or white wine. So, okay, what can I have both? And she was like, well, Mr. Powers. I'm like, okay, you please call me Jim. Please call me
Yeah.
Jim. Don't, Mr. Powers is my dad. Please call me Jim. And she's like, well, Jim, normally you're not supposed to. You've already had a bunch to drink here, but we're really not supposed to serve you all that much. But you seem okay. So yeah, if you want, yeah. I was like, well, I do. Yes. So these weren't little bottles either. These were not little bottles. These were full size bottles of very fancy red wine, and I couldn't pronounce the names on the labels of these fancy red and white wine bottles.
Yeah.
So I drank the both of them. So flight is continuing. All the stewardesses are getting a kick out of this, like how I'm just freaking out over this whole situation. So I'm like, oh, you guys got TVs up here? This is the first time I'd ever seen a TV on an airplane. I'm like, you guys have TVs? They're like laughing at me. They're like, wow, this guy's something else. So about halfway through the flight, one of the stewardesses comes over and she's like, all right, we weren't going to tell you, but there's a bar here in first class. Do you want to sit at the bar? I'm like, you guys have a bar up here? Get out of here. So I get up, took a beer with me, walked into a different part of the cabin. There's a bar. There's a bar. I sit down. There's a guy standing like he was waiting for me, like The Shining. Like he's just waiting there. I'm like, hello. I sit down. He's like, you must be Jim. I'm like, I am Jim. How's it going, buddy? He's like, I've been hearing stories about you for the last couple of hours. I'm like, what's up, man? How's it going? Cracked the beer. I'm sitting there drinking. He pours me another beer. So he pushes this button and like a TV screen comes up from behind him. And he goes, how do you feel about The Simpsons? I'm like, I love The Simpsons. He's like, oh, we have a whole Simpsons channel. I'm like, you have a whole what? Put on this Simpsons channel. So I sat there for an hour watching The Simpsons with this guy drinking more beer.
Yeah.
So I'm having a great time. Then there was more drinking. A couple of other things happened. But the pertinent part of this story is we were about an hour away from landing. And they come to me and they're like, okay, well, we're going to serve you breakfast. I'm like, okay, cool. So they took away my beers and my empties, which were considerable.
Yeah.
Considerable. Take these wine bottles. And they're like, oh, do you want a mimosa? I'm like, oh, yeah. Yeah, I want a yeah, absolutely, man. They give me a big ass mimosa. So they're serving me like the full English breakfast, like the blood pudding and the sausages and
Nice.
oh yeah, which is good. Good they did that.
Yeah.
Problem. Now I felt fine. I knew I felt I was 23. I'd die if I tried to do this now, but I was feeling good, but I didn't feel too bad. I was feeling no pain, but I didn't feel too bad. I wasn't out of control. I didn't feel like I was out of control. And then the plane began to descend.
Oh shit.
And this is where 9th grade science class with Mr. Levins at Rocky Point High School came into my mind. When you are at altitude, your blood is very, very thin. It's very, very thin. When you come back to normal altitude, your blood thickens back up. I felt like somebody clocked me upside the head with a bat. I was like, I'm hanging on to the seat. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I felt every single drop of all of those beers and the wine and God knows what the fuck else I drank over the course, which was free, which no one was trying to stop me over the course of a 7.5 hour goddamn airplane flight.
Yeah.
I was just guzzling for 7 friggin' hours. I was almost sliding onto the floor. Like if I didn't have the seatbelt on, there's nothing. That was the only thing that was keeping me from falling on the floor. So the plane lands. I miraculously managed to not throw up. I do not know how I didn't because I really thought I was gonna.
Yeah.
So the stewardesses come over and they're like, "All right, Jim, well, it's just time to go." And I was like, "Oh, that's great, but yeah, I can't get up. That's nope, not happening. I cannot get out of this chair. That's if you take this seatbelt off me, I will fall onto the floor." I'm slurring my words. All of a sudden, they're like, "Oh, you're really drunk." I'm like, "Well, my blood got really. We were at altitude." I tried to tell them what I just told you, but
Yeah.
I was shit faced, so it made no sense. So one of them picks me up. I got one arm around one of them and one arm around the other one. And they're like, "Come on now, here we go." I love the British. They're like, they don't care about drunks. They love drunks. Yeah, whatever. Here we go. So they're leading me to off the plane. And one of them is like, "Oh, hey, do you want to meet the pilots?" Sure. Sure. Let's
Like a
meet the
little
pilots.
kid, like, oh, let's go
Sure.
meet him, Jimmy. Come on.
Let's do it. Sure. Let's do this. They're having a great time. They're having a great time.
Yeah.
So they knock on the door. The door opens, and the co-pilot says, he's like, "How are you feeling? How are you feeling?" I'm like, "How does it look like I feel?" He goes, "You look like you're gonna die." He's like, "Look, please don't throw up." I was like, "I know, I'm not. I'm trying. I'm trying." So he goes, "Listen, don't drink this now. Don't drink this now. But champagne, we got all these bottles of champagne. Champagne on Virgin Atlantic in first class, it can only make one trip. And if nobody drinks it, they throw it out because then it's not fresh anymore.
Yeah.
We got like 3 or 4 bottles. Do you want them? If we give them to you now, it's not, you don't have to declare it in customs because the plane is British territory." Yes. I'm not going to drink them now. They're like, "Don't try to drink this right now." I won't. I promise. I can't drink anything right now. I'll be lucky if I'm not dead in an hour, but here we go. They call me a golf cart. This golf cart pulls up with this little British guy in his like Virgin Atlantic work, like a boiler suit, like a mechanic's suit, right? Really thick. "Oi, mate, welcome to Britain. How you doing? Yeah, get a sit down. You must be Jim. Yeah, have a seat." I slump into this golf cart. I'm like, "Hey, dude, what's going on?" I've got my bottles of champagne in this bag, this big Virgin Atlantic bag. They drive me up to customs. This was the start. He tried to pull up as close as he could. He's like, "Okay, this is as close as I get. You got to get out." I'm like, "You're gonna have to help me. I
Yeah.
can't. I can't get up, bro. Like, I really can't. You really gotta help me." So the guy comes around to the side. He goes, "You've had a little too much to drink all the plane, mate." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. Clearly, help me here." But he picks me up. I'm on the desk in front of the customs lady who looked like the biggest battle axe. Imagine the
Oh,
cafeteria
no.
lady from your high school,
Yeah.
like classic cafeteria looking lady. And I'm like, "Oh no, oh no, I'm about to get deported." Like, I'm good. I'm glad I had a good flight because I'm about to get right back on a plane because they're about to deport my ass. Oh shit. And she looks at me and she's like, "Have you been drinking a little bit?" And I was like, "Well, I'm not gonna lie to you, lady. I have been. I am very drunk. I'm not lying to you. I'm trying to come into Great Britain incredibly drunk. I'm very sorry." And she's like, "Do you have anything to declare?" I'm like, "Well, they told me I didn't have to do this, but the plane gave me all these bottles of champagne."
Hmm.
There you go.
Yeah.
Plane gave me all these bottles of champagne. And she's like, "Okay, then if that's fine. You don't have to declare. That's okay." She's like, "Do you have anything else to declare?" I was like, "No, I'm really drunk. That's what I have to declare." Shit face. I'm sorry. Like, please don't, please. My
I
girlfriend is waiting.
declare shit.
I declare the fact that my blood alcohol level is like 27, like not 0.20, it is 27. Like, I'm very sorry. It won't happen again, but you got to let me in because my girlfriend's waiting for me and she's going to kill me if you put me back on a plane. So the woman looks up at me and she's like, "Well, we don't really mind if people are drunk. That's fine. Okay. Just, don't cause any problems while you're here." Just stamps my passport. She said a bunch of other stuff I don't remember,
Yeah.
but the important was she let me in the country. Now I still can't walk. So golf cart guy's gone. And she's like, "Okay, you can leave." And I was like, "No, I can't." And she
Yeah.
went, "You can't even walk?" In this mom voice. It's like disappointed. "You can't even walk." I'm like,
Get out of
"I'm
that.
yeah, yeah." She's like, "You can go." I'm like, I can't go. I can't walk. I can't. It's not gonna happen. Like, I'm gonna sit in front of you. I'm gonna be here for about 4 hours till I recover myself. But yeah, I need to get out of here. So they call me another golf cart. And she's like, "Well, okay, are people here to pick you up?" I was like, "Yeah, my girlfriend's here and my friends are here. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
in the arrivals area." And she's like, "Okay, well, we'll drive you over there." So they give him another golf cart. This guy pulls up, and I literally like was hanging onto it. I climb in the back, and he goes, "Oh my god!" He's like, "I can smell you." He's like, "What were you doing?" I can't even do the British accent. He's like, "Man, what were you doing?" I'm like, "Man, I flew first class for the first time." He went, "Oh shit, oh yeah, no, I got bumped up to first class 3 years ago." My girlfriend was so fucking mad at me. I get out of this golf cart. My two friends are helping me. And she's like, what did you do? I was like, I'll tell you later. I will tell you later. But I have one more story. I have one more story about that trip. So the Queen Mother died. Queen Elizabeth's mom.
Yeah.
She was 101 years old. 103. I'm sorry. She was 103. Dropped dead 20 minutes after I showed up. Clearly my fault. So imagine if Eleanor Roosevelt was still alive. That's basically it. This woman was the queen during World War II. So this was their living connection to World War II. The whole country shut down for 2 days. Like the whole country, like everything was closed for 2 days. The funeral was the craziest thing that I have ever seen. Like, unless I get to go to a coronation myself, I will never see anything with this kind of pomp and circumstance. It was bananas.
Yeah.
I got out to the road, the street where they were going to be going by. I got out there at 5 in the morning. I was in the 14th row of people at 5 in the morning. It was insanity. I've been to all the Patriots parades. I've been to the Red Sox parades. Nothing in comparison to this lunacy.
Yeah.
I also found out that you are legally allowed to drink in public in London. Hooray, London. So people are making money selling beer. And I'm like, I will take a 6-pack. So I'm standing there drinking beer and watched the whole thing go by. It was really amazing. And then I was trying to find the subway to go back to where I was staying, and I couldn't find it. And I see this group of cops. Now, I am incredibly hesitant to approach them because I am holding a can of beer. And while people have told me it's legal, I am not 100% sure.
Yeah, it's true.
This seems suspect. Like, So I had it behind my back, and I walked out and I'm like, hey guys, you just tell me where the subway is? And this cop goes, what do you got behind your back? I'm like, oh shit, I got a beer. And they're like, why do you have the beer behind your back? Is it legal? Yeah, it's fine. What's wrong with you? You got something else in there? No, it's just beer. Oh, yeah, you're fine. No problem. So I took a beer. I'm like, you guys want a beer? And the first cop goes, no, we're not that liberal. We're not, can't drink on duty. So I said, okay, well, when are you getting off? And he goes, getting off in whatever. It's like 2 hours. I went, all right, you going to be here? He's like, yeah, the police station's right there. I'm like, I'll see you back here in 2 hours. So I set my watch, went walking around, came back in 2 hours. This guy's coming out. I'm waiting for him. He comes out. I'm like, hey, man, I got your beer right here. Everyone starts laughing. He goes, oh, it's my Yank friend. Oh, he brought me a beer. So I give him the beer, cracks the beer open. I'm like, all right, man, I'll see you later. He goes, where are you going? I'm like, well, I'm going to the art gallery, the Tate Modern. And he goes, you want to ride? Yes, I want to ride. I got to ride in a London cop car.
Nice.
We get in the cop car. I have all these beers on my lap. And he goes, all right, I shouldn't let you do this, but if you want to crack a beer, you crack a beer. I'm like, oh, yes. So I'm like drinking beer in this British cop car. I'm like, this is amazing. Like, you're kidding me. We get into traffic, right? And he was a young guy. Like, he wasn't that much old. I was 23. This guy couldn't have been more than 25, 26.
Yeah.
We get into traffic. London is like New York. He gets into traffic. He looks at me. He goes, you want me to put the lights on? Yes, I do. He flips the lights and siren on. We're cutting through the traffic. He goes, oh, man. He's like, you cannot tell anyone. I'm like, oh, no, I never saw anything. We are zipping by people. I'm waving at people with the beer can. I'm like, how's it going, everybody? We pull up to the art gallery. There are my friends standing for the gallery. I get out of a cop car holding a beer. I'm like, all right, man, I'll see you later. I walk up to my friends. I'm like, what's going on, guys? What have you guys been doing? They're like, all right, this place is only open for another hour, and it's going to take you 2 hours to tell that story. So let's go in, and then you can tell us later.
Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah,
Officer Partington, wherever you are, my friend, a great man of the London Metropolitan Police Force.
Now, speaking of, you were just saying about like 103, and we're talking about years old.
Yeah.
Right. So here's a question for you. I ask this to everybody that comes on.
Okay.
And I'm making a tally of this shit right as it is.
Okay.
Who's gonna die first? Keith Richards or Betty White?
Oh.
See, now it makes you think. I told this to everybody else. It makes you think now because Keith Richards died like 3 or 4 fucking times already.
He had the mythical full blood transfusion. Yeah. I mean,
and he was a pirate too.
I used to have a T-shirt when I was in college that said, "What kind of world are we leaving for Keith Richards?"
See, my girlfriend would love you about that because she's like, what's going on with this tally here?
I I love Betty White. She's great. She was married to a guy who died in like 1981, and she's never been remarried. She
No.
like still that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Uh, I just have a bad feeling that Betty White is gonna go first. I think Keith is gonna continue his reign as the undefeated last man standing champion. I just have a bad feeling. I mean, I know women live statistically, Betty White should win,
Yeah.
but I don't know what sort of deal Keith Richards made with the elder gods to I mean whatever sort of deities that he's conferred with over time to outlive like fucking everybody. Like it's
Yeah.
and he still looks. He was on TV when I lived in New York. Lived in the city for almost 8 years, 7 years. I came back here in 2019, and in like I think it was 2017 the Stones came to town, or 2016, something like that,
Yeah.
and he was on New York One, and he looked fine. He looked fine. I mean, he sounded okay. He,
Yeah.
even I mean, there's no reason that man should be alive at all, which leads me to believe. I mean, the thing that's crazy is that he outlived Charlie Watts, who like didn't do drugs and
Yeah.
didn't, like pretty. I mean, not he drank, but like not the party animal Stone. Like Charlie Watts is the normal Rolling Stone, and he outlived him. So I just have a bad feeling that while statistically Betty White should do it, I think Keith Richards is gonna keep going. I wonder who's gonna. I wonder if Keith is gonna outlive Iggy. I think it's gonna come down to the two of them, like sitting on a beach somewhere after everybody else is gone.
Well,
Like
that's what I'm gonna do because all right, so we got Betty White. So there's 8 people, including yourself, saying that Betty White's gonna kick the bucket.
I, I'm sorry, Betty White. I love you.
But
Not
we got,
personal.
so it's 8 Betty White, 12 Keith Richards.
It's just Betty White is gonna outlive goddamn near everybody. Betty White could outlive you and me.
Yeah.
I don't think she's gonna go anytime soon.
Well,
I just
she is 99 now.
yeah, yeah,
She's gonna be 100 January 17th, I
yeah,
believe.
yeah. I mean, she's
So,
probably she could probably make it to like 105,
oh yeah,
but
yeah.
easily.
Or as we call it, Mash from Geek Hop News. He's like she's gonna live to 1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, she's got years left in her. Keith Richards just has that weird thing going. I mean, I would pick Betty White to outlive almost anybody else you would name, but not Keith, man. I don't know
yeah.
what. I would
Well,
love to know.
that's what I'm wondering. So if whoever it does say, I'm not really making a Deadpool thing here.
No, yeah, no, it is,
If
but
it does,
it's
then I'll put
interesting.
Iggy Pop in there as well, like after it's done. Yeah. It's
His
like ranking. So whoever
he's
does, and then Iggy Pop will take over.
I
Yeah.
mean, Iggy, I understand because he works out like an animal. He does
Yeah, he shows it.
karate.
Like
Yeah, he does martial arts, he does yoga, he does all this other, he keeps himself in shape. He stopped partying hard a long time. He probably could drink us all under the table still, but he doesn't do that anymore, really. Uh, so that's what keeping him going. But Keith Richards is still smoking and drinking. He's smoking cigarettes. He's drinking beer. He doesn't.
yeah.
I don't understand, man. I don't. But then again, like my grandmother, she just passed away 2 years ago. She was 89. She had 4 major heart surgeries, and she smoked 4 packs of Marlboro Reds every single day from the 50s up until the day she died,
Hmm.
and she lived almost 90. So at a certain point, I feel like if you're gonna die from that stuff, it would already have happened. So then there's like a limit
True.
you get to where it's like, you know what, you've been doing this for so long, your body just well before Lemmy died.
Yeah.
There was a story about 4 years before Lemmy died. I can't remember if it was in Mojo or Spin or Rolling Stone. It was in one of the music magazines, and it was when he stopped. It was when he first started having serious medical issues,
Yeah.
and he went to the doctor, and they were like, "Okay, well, you probably should stop drinking so much, but like we can't explain like the composition of your blood because you've been taking amphetamines and
Yeah.
drinking 3 bottles of Jack Daniels every day and smoking 20 cigarettes for so long. Like if you stopped cold doing any of that, that might kill you." So that might kill you. This is what's
Yeah.
keeping you going. You have to keep doing that now. And that's basically, so he's like, well, I cut it down to 1 bottle of Jack a day. And then he lived for another 5 years, and he lived for another 5. And that guy should have
Yeah.
died. I mean, I was shocked when he died. That legitimately shocked me.
And the people of Allah, we call it, can't go to the 72 virgins because Lemmy's there. So
Yeah, hey, no, that's
he's a
that's
big
the thing.
virginized right now. So
It's all over now. Yeah, that's Lemmy's been there, man. You can't go back.
him and
But
his two like wart things going over here.
oh God, man, one of the ugliest human beings to
But
ever
every
live.
woman wants to go. Like I have,
Yeah,
like
I don't remember the name of the bar. There's a bar in Hollywood that he used to hang out with, and now there's a statue at that bar. And a friend of mine is a born and raised Angelino, and she doesn't live too far away from it. And we're into the same kind of music. And I remember in the mid 2000s, she came out here to visit me, and she was like, "You would not believe, like, if you go there, he's there. He's there every afternoon. Like, you just go and see him. It's not a big deal." But she's
yeah,
like, He's surrounded by like young women, like in their early 20s. I'm like,
yeah,
that's horrifying. That's horrifying. What? What? Jesus. Like, what? Seriously. I mean, I love Motorhead, but God, I mean, that man was hideous. Like, what?
yeah,
What in the world? What in
yeah.
the world
What,
is going on there?
what kind of world are we living in here?
What exactly? Seriously, what kind of life choices are you making? Like, stop it. That's not. Don't do that.
But
Please don't do that.
we are pretty much close to the end.
All right,
Oh, we
here we
forgot the
go.
whole thing about this. You got to explain your podcast.
All right, we're gonna close. We'll close out on that. So anyway, on Fridays, most Fridays, not last Friday, but we'll do it this Friday, at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the United States. So that's 11:30 in Britain, and it's like 3:30 in the morning the following day in Western Australia. I do a show called the Friday Night Music Party on Twitch, twitch.tv/Friday Night Music Party, all one word. I play literally all kinds of music. I have played Dwight Yoakam. I have played Slayer. I have played Old Dirty Bastard. I have played the Sex Pistols. I have played the Damned. New stuff, old stuff, whatever it is, I do not care. Please hit me up on Twitter at Bereft of the Dial. If you want a request, I will. The only thing I will not play is Billy Joel. I can't do it. I can't do it. I lived on Long Island for too long. I can't stand him. I can't do it, man. WBLI and WALK poisoned me against Billy Joel. And the kids and the kids I went to high school with. I can't. I won't play Billy Joel, but I will literally play anything else. I played a song last week from Bob's Burgers that one of my friends wanted to hear. I've somehow amassed listeners all over the globe. I got Irish people, British people, Canadians, Australians, New Zealanders. If you speak English and you live in the world, somehow people have come to my show. The gimmick, I guess, I don't know gimmick, but I wanted it to be like when I was growing up. And you know this because you grew up on Long Island.
Mhm.
The radio on Long Island sucks.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of great shit. We had LIR, but like other than that, right? Not really a whole lot of good stuff.
Well, WBAB, they had
Yeah, yeah,
Z100 at the time. Was good.
D100. Yeah, I mean, but most of it is like AOK, BLI.
Fingers Metal Shop.
Yeah, I mean, you got to go out to like, especially where I was on the North Shore, we could just about get BAB. Like, I had a big whip antenna. That's how I got BAB, but like BAB didn't really come in too well. We would get
Yeah.
WPLR. We got PLR. Thank God. Big shout out to WPLR, New London, Connecticut. Those guys saved my life. But 99.1 WUSB from the University of Stony Brook was the gold standard, and they had a show called Turmoil, and it was the longest running punk rock show in America. It got started in 1980, and it only finished when the guy retired, I think, in like 2015.
Yeah.
So I try to model this on a little bit on Turmoil and like old radio that we grew up with. So I play a couple of songs, and then I play like a classic radio ad, like
Mhm.
something from I played you remember Big Barry's? Big Barry's restaurant.
Vaguely.
Yeah, I played a Big Barry's restaurant one. I've done a bunch of what do you call it? Crazy Eddie. I've played a bunch
Oh,
of
yeah.
Crazy Eddie. I played a bunch of Crazy Eddie ads. I played a bunch of like Drew Scott, WLNY, TV55, Riverhead ads. I've played like all sorts of stuff. I do the weather every day. David Lynch does a weather report. I start the show off with that. But yeah, that's twitch.tv/Friday Night Music Party almost every Friday at 6:30 p.m.
Okay, I got to write this down. Twitch.tv.
Twitch.tv/Friday Night Music Party, all one word. And any requests, please send them to me on Twitter at bereft of the dial. I will play anything you want except that piano guy. I
Because a week ago,
don't
I got to put my my Twitch thing back on, and
I don't do it. Yeah, the cool thing is you don't have to sign up for Twitch. If you want to join the chat, which is always pretty cool, is people from all over the world. You do have to sign up, but if you just want to listen, oh, and I should mention this, because it's visual. I usually play like an old. I got to play something. There's got to be some video.
yeah,
I usually play like an old sports game. I played like old USFL games. I've played old NHL games, baseball, or like old cartoons, 80s cartoons. It's crazy. People have uploaded all this wild shit to YouTube.
yeah,
Blocks and blocks and blocks of shit. Old cartoons, old commercials. Somebody put up a whole day of commercials from like March 1986. I just played all those and I play the music over it. And it somehow people seem to like it. I don't know why, but I like it. I do it for me. I mean, I'm having fun. And
yeah.
I hope other people, I'm having fun. And I hope other people, this is what I would do if you would give me the keys to, if I could go down to WBAB and like you gave me the keys for a few hours, like this is what I would be doing. But it's great. And I've made a lot of great relationships with new bands, especially a lot of new British bands. So people have started sending me their stuff. I've played a bunch of stuff before it's come out, like pre-release singles, and
Yeah.
which is amazing. Like, who am I? Like, I'm just some dork on the internet. But there's a really great podcast community out there. It's how I met you.
Oh yeah.
There's
Oh,
there's
definitely.
a really fantastic podcast community out there, and you'll
There
meet all
is.
these great people. But yeah, so come on down. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's like a lot of we call it like I never figured that we call it would be like so much of like a family get together kind of
It
stuff.
is. It is really. It
Yeah.
is. It's wild.
They
It's
help you
wild.
out, they
Yeah.
retweet,
Yeah. Oh
they
man. People I've never met, people who I've never met have been like, oh man, my friend is in a band and my friend is a promoter and I'll send you MP3s and
yeah,
I'll check this out and get in touch with it. I wish I could remember his name off the top of my head. Somebody in the podcast group, and if this is you, I apologize that I can't remember who you were.
yeah,
Please don't hate me. Uh, got me on a promotion email list that's like an industry list. Like you gotta be. This isn't like open to the public.
yeah,
Got me on this promotion list for like new music, and now I get all these like free MP3s in the mail like every Friday. So I get an email with like 10 MP3s. All right, well, this is what's coming out this month, and it's like rock, punk, metal, some hip hop, but mostly like rock and metal.
yeah,
Okay, okay, like thanks a lot. And like it's amazing what people who you've never met these people like. Hey, thanks. Like
yeah.
that's amazing. Like, you don't know me. Like thank you so much. Like, and people cutting promos for each other. I play promos from other people's podcasts. If you want to make a promo for me,
Yeah, yeah,
maybe
we
like
can. I'm gonna do that. I got a promo. I'll
yeah,
send it to you. And
send me the promo. I'll play it on Friday. I'm gonna sit down tomorrow and make well, probably not tomorrow. Not Monday, Tuesday.
yeah,
I'm gonna sit down and put the show together. So yeah, man, send me a promo.
yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah. Because then we call
Awesome.
it same here, and I'll put it on for this one.
Yeah, awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But also,
terrific.
you can find me as well. Like you go to a link tree, linktr.ee/ Tattoo Squid Podcast has all the
Yeah.
links of different stuff. YouTube, buy me a coffee, my
Buy
merch shop.
me
Uh,
a Mickey's.
I wish it was. I'll be buying that myself. Yeah. Especially because now I'll be making the picture because I got all these notes down here and
Yeah.
so, and I don't know if you ever seen it like on Twitter. What I usually do is like every time I do a chat with anybody,
Yeah.
I go and make a collage or whatever, of like what we were talking about.
There you go. Cool.
So, I'll put
All
down
right.
like, whatever it is, I'll put down Lemmy in there, the guy that
Yeah.
the guy that fell out of the helicopter, whatever, and
Yeah,
and
my boss.
the nuclear power plant in the background, or some shit like that,
I if
Salem or something.
there you go. Yeah. I don't know if John Green from Riverhead is listening, I hope he's recovered from his Marine Corps injuries.
Yeah,
He's probably still working at he's probably still working at a gas station.
and I want to make you as a not South Park, as we call it as a Simpson character.
Oh, there
Yeah.
you go. Well,
So
good
no,
luck.
like a Simpson character that's all bandaged up and all that. Yeah. The only thing I need from you, well, I'll
Yeah.
talk to you in a little bit after this.
Okay.
So that way, I'll tell
Yeah.
you what I need from you.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Shoot me a
But
message.
folks, check out Jim. We call that his, Friday on Twitch.tv Friday night music party. And and if anything, you can probably, play some Weird Al Yankovic for Bearded Al podcast. Yeah.
I will play some weird. There's a lot of Weird Al fans out there. I've
No,
played
I
Weird
know
Al.
she is
Oh,
like,
she's the number one. She
yeah,
sent me a
she's the number
sticker.
one. Every
She's
day it's a Weird Al, shirt.
she's great. She's great.
Yeah.
She sent me a really cool sticker. Yeah, I'll have to throw in some Weird Al for her. I've
Yeah.
played a bunch of Weird Al, but I'm not opposed. I grew up on Dr. Demento.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm never opposed to playing more
Or
Weird
eat
Al.
it, or
There you go. Yeah, that's a good
yeah.
one.
But sir, thank you
Yes,
for being
thank
on
you,
the show.
sir. Thanks for having me on, buddy. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
even
Great
though we
show.
had a little, scheduling conflicts,
I know. I'm sorry, man.
Hey, that's all right.
I hope
It
I
comes
made
with
it
the
up to
game.
you.
It comes with the game. But yeah, stick around. I'm going to talk to you a little bit, and then
All right.
guys, take it easy. Have a good night. It's Sunday, and you guys have work in the morning. So do I.
Look at that. Yeah, there you go.
So, but let me
All
go
right.
and shut this down, and we talk. Okay, take it easy.